here with Lederman. Always great, always good to talk to you.
Thank you, thank you.
As a boxing fan and as a boxing observer, how does it feel to finally get to call and see Mayweather versus Pacquiao?
Oh, I feel like everybody else. It's great. It's great. It's going to be a great event, great night of boxing. The world is going to love it. I think it'll be a sensational fight. Two really great fighters getting together. You know, when you see two world champions against each other, it's always a great fight. You know, in other words, past world champions, the current world champions, you put two world champions in a ring against each other, it's always a great fight.
As somebody who's seen and followed boxing for so long, can you compare this to other fights of this kind of historical nature?
Leonard Hagler. Yeah, it's a really big fight. Ali Frazier won, everybody's talking about. Leonard Hagler definitely. You know, it's one of those monstrous fights that the world really wants to see. Huge fight.
In terms of the fact that it's coming so many years later, which is similar to what happened with Leonard Hagler, is it too late in your eyes, or do you think it's still a fine time for them to be fighting?
Oh, it's great. I mean, no, they're both looking really good. I don't see where, you know, Floyd has fallen back Eddie or Manny Pacquiao's fallen back Eddie. These guys really look terrific. I don't see any fall off in their game. Neither one of them. I think that they're both on top of their game. I think it's going to be a sensational night. I think people are going to love this fight, the event. Everything about it is just super. You know, the excitement, the fact that so many people want to see it, the fact that so many people will be tuning in. It's just exciting. You know. It's exciting to me, and it's exciting to every other boxing fan. And to tell you the honest to God's truth, tennis fans are going to be watching this fight. You know, people that don't even know from boxing, but, you know, they've been hearing Mayweather and Pacquiao for so many years. They'll be tuning in. It's just incredible.
You've been following Mayweather for his entire career, correct?
Yeah.
And Pacquiao ever since he really came on your radar back in 2001, 2002. So going back with Mayweather, could you ever have envisioned him becoming what he is now?
Well, you know, everything he's done in his life, he's been ahead of his time. He's an amazing person. I mean, think about it. I remember when he stepped in the ring with Chiquinito Hernandez, with Gennaro Hernandez, the late Gennaro Hernandez. I said to myself, the guy's crazy. He doesn't belong there. Hernandez is going to chew him up. You remember, I think it was at 130 pounds?
Yep.
And Chiquinito was a great champion. You know, he'd lay on the ropes and beat the heck out of you coming off the ropes. And Floyd got in the ring with Chiquinito Hernandez. I thought he was nuts. And you know, Floyd won his first title. And, you know, he just went from there. He's always a guy that's ahead of his time, you know. Time means nothing to Floyd Mayweather. He just, you know, he's so good. He's such a natural athlete. He's such a great fighter that, you know, he can do things that he wasn't ready to do, and that's how I look at him, you know. And Manny's pretty much the same way. Manny's just a great athlete.
When did you know that Manny was special, or going to be something special?
Oh my God, you know, some of those knockouts, the Ricky Hatton, you know, Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, you know, some of his one-punch knockouts way back when. You know, you look at Manny Pacquiao and you say, boy, this guy's really something special. I looked at his style way back and I said, boy, he's a tough guy to fight. Southpaw, he turns, he you know, uses the ring to his advantage. He puts you where he wants to put you. He's got a great right hand for a southpaw. He throws a right hook that's devastating. You know, a lot of southpaws have very weak right hands. They pull with it, you know. Not Manny. Manny snaps it. Manny can throw a right hook that tear your head off, you know, which is very unusual for southpaw. So, you know, he's got terrific skills.
It's so amazing because you go back and you review maybe the Ledwaba fights when he first appeared under an HBO pay-per-view, and the broadcast crew, you all were trying to pronounce his last name, which is, you never spoken it before.
Right.
And you know, you go forward now, you go to the Barrera fights, you go to the Marquez fights, and him coming up from 122 to 126 and so on. And it just seems that he's become the HBO cottage industry. And you just think back to when you first saw him with Ledwaba, could you have pictured back then that this 122-pound whirlwind would be doing what he is doing now?
No. Yeah, I never really thought that it'd come this far, you know. Not that I deny him or anything like that, but, you know, you just never thought that he'd become the great fighter that he is, the #1 fighter in the world. You know, he's been in that #1 position here and there, and you know, way back when he fought Ledwaba, it was there's just no indication that he was going to go so far. But he's coming off a long way. You know that eight world titles he won? It's just amazing, you know.
I think you could even say the same thing about after the first Morales fight. We wouldn't know that he was going to be able to bounce back after that. He really, truly did.
I know. Just amazing, you know. A loss doesn't bother him. I mean, you know, I didn't think that, you know, he was just devastated by the fact that he got knocked out by Juan Marquez. You know, the next fight he was the same old Manny Pacquiao. He just comes back. I mean, he's a guy that, you know, comes back from adversity. And, you know, terrific fighter.
So you've been covering fights, you know, first as a judge and now as the unofficial ringside judge for HBO. How excited?
And the host of Hey Harold.
And the host of Hey Harold. How excited do you still get for fights, having seen so many of them, and now to be going into this big fight?
David, I can't begin to tell you how excited I get. It's just, you know, it's really exciting. Looking forward to May the 2nd. Now, we've got some really good fights coming up before May the 2nd. I always get excited by heavyweight title fights, and certainly we've got a good one on April 25th at Madison Square Garden with Vladimir Klitschko finally coming back to the United States to take on Brian Jennings. I mean, I'm really excited about that because of the fact that it's the heavyweight championship of the world. It's the real heavyweight championship of the world. Vladimir is looking great. I'd love to see him, you know, try to catch Joe Louis with 25 successful defenses. What's he up to now? About 17?
Yeah.
You know, taking on Brian Jennings at Madison Square Garden. That's going to be an electric night. So, you know, but I am definitely very, very excited. Looking forward to May the 2nd. It's going to be just a very exciting night. The only thing I'm a little bit sad about is I'd love to see them have more tickets in the arena so that more people would get a chance to see the fight live. But, you know, I can't solve every problem in boxing. You know, there's just too many.
Harold, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, David.